cast, it's insanely talented. Can you tell what made you choose each one of them?
I think, well, insanely talented is was first and foremost, I think, what drew us to everybody. I mean, I think that there is a the characters on the page were so well written. I mean, Guy and Jamie are just incredible, and had designed the world of the story in such a beautiful way. Everyone felt different, and they also all felt like real people, kind of
Who
in
would be
this living in
friends?
this, yeah, in this heightened situation. And I think for us it was really about just meeting everybody, and kind of getting a vibe. I this was we're like really hard on ourselves with designing a team of people that are going to like show up and have a good time. That's a big part of the process for us, is making sure that everybody involved is involved for the right reasons, and that they're excited to show up every day. And of course they also have to be incredible at their jobs. And when you find the intersection of those two things, it's the greatest experience in the world to work with people like that. And I think we can say, from top down, every single person in this movie like just blew us away, and we all became a real family over the course of making the movie, and are just endlessly proud of the work that everyone did in this.
Worth throwing out that a lot of them are, in fact, I would say all of them are like deep Scream fans. It's like a couple of them were incoming calls, as they say. They reached out, being like, I just want to be in Scream. Like, I'll do anything. I don't care. And then, it's like, I mean, Mason wrote his college essay on Scream and the future of the Scream franchise, and it's like there's there's nobody involved in the movie that isn't extremely excited to be a part of the Scream family. Nobody's just doing it as a job. And it's like it's what Tyler was saying about making sure that like we vibe with people, because we met them all during COVID, right? So this is how we met all of our cats, just on a Zoom, and hoping that translates. And it's like sometimes Zooms can be awkward. And I mean, I think we got really lucky.
Yeah, we definitely did. We definitely
They're
did.
all
And
fucking
then
incredible.
they're all incredible. And then watching the way like the new cast members just would be looking to the cast members from the legacy cast members, for guidance and for appreciation of what they've done and what they've built. They're all very thankful for everything that they all brought to it with this iteration of it.
I think too, it should also we should also say that, you know the legacy cast, these movies have been a part of their lives for a really long time. And and it'd be easy to like show up and kind of phone it in, but you can just tell that they love these movies so much, and are really like the beating heart of the franchise. And so to have the three of them just so generously offering themselves to the movie, and I mean, and really in so many ways, building the vibe of what, not only building the vibe of what the movie was by just having told four incredible stories in this universe, but showing up, being willing to engage like on a very personal level with us and with the other cast members. I mean, they created they created a sense of family that I think we were all really nervous about, right? We knew that we were the new kids coming into something that existed,
Yeah.
and that could have gone really wrong. But they welcomed all of us with open arms, and that generosity is like really a part of the movie. You really feel that in what this film is.
There's not a day anybody showed up on set that there wasn't some form of, whoa, we're making fucking a Scream movie. This is incredible. And not not even a little hyperbole. Every single scene with Ghostface, it felt like there was a celebrity in the room, that it was just like, whoa, Ghostface is here. Like that mask is, you just, as soon as that's on, and the person playing Ghostface walks in, yeah, it's just like, I mean, like everybody in the cast, ourselves included, would be like, oh, let's get a picture. Let's get a picture with Ghostface. You know, it was that
Yeah.
kind of vibe where.
And it's like you give yourself a few seconds to kind of just be in shock, and then you're like, oh shit, no, we have a job to do. Like we actually have to make this movie. We can't just stand around as fans and like geek out. We actually have to dig in and make this thing.
Yeah, and then going back to the Ghostface of it all, I'll never forget us walking into the costume room the very first time, and Emily Gumshore, our costume designer, obviously did a great job, did her homework, did her research when we were doing the robe and securing the mask, and so we were walking into the room, and like through the corner of the sliver of the door, you were able to see Ghostface, and I thought it was on a mannequin, and when we walked in the door, it was actually on one of our stunt performers. And they jumped out and scared the living shit out of me. I was like, it was like terrifying. It was like to see him moving around and being alive in the world, and just knowing that the amount of excitement that brought going into it at that stage in the process. That I think that's when it was like, oh my God, this is real. This is like before actors arrived. This is just early on in pre-production, and like this is real. This is the path we're going down right now. Something like that is just magical.
I can also say too, like we leaned on Nev, Courtney, and David for a lot. I mean, we relied on them. These characters have been a part of their lives for a really long time, and even in the script stages, when they were first getting involved, we were really adamant about wanting them to help us shape and craft who those characters were on the page, and because ultimately, like there's no better compass for who those characters are than those three actors. I mean, even as fans, with a deep love and appreciation for those movies, the process that the three of them go through to bring those characters to life is really theirs, and so it was really fun to watch them do their thing, to watch those characters come to life, and then to also get to know the three of them offset was, I mean, they're three of just the kindest, most generous people you'll ever know.
Really, truly.
The trio, they didn't immediately have signed on to be part of it. Did you guys had a plan B if one of them didn't?
I mean,
no,
we did and didn't in any real way. It was like, I think for everybody involved, between us, the producers, the writers, one of whom is a producer, it was like, let's make the best version of this movie possible, and that's the three of them. And again, so much of that comes from us all being such fans that we, much like the very vocal fandom on Twitter or wherever, it's not Scream if they're not there. Like you need that trio, because that's what Tyler was just saying. They're the heartbeat of the movie, and so yeah, I think the simple answer is fucking no, right? I mean,
yeah, no, and I think
that's the answer for us, at least.
Yeah, like we were like, because Nev was the last sign on, and we were really nervous about it, whether or not she was, and the three of us had conversations where like, I mean, we can't make it without Nev Campbell. Like, that's not Scream. Like, we'd be so mad as fans.
Yeah, and to Guy and Jamie's credit, they wrote those characters so beautifully. I mean, that the script is really responsible for those attachments. I mean, the Guy and Jamie wrote something that I think has every bit the amount of heart that the other movies had, and I think that they recognized that in what those characters were in this part of the journey, and we're so thankful they're involved.
Yeah.
we don't know what we would have done.
I mean, they did. Because I think part of the trick that Jamie and Guy did while doing that, which is so smart, is they didn't do. How like some movies you can kind of tell you're like, this character could easily not be in the movie, like that vibe. It wasn't that. It was so interwoven and so integral to the movie that, I mean, if you took one of them out, it's a full rewrite. You're not just like, well, then this scene, the movie doesn't exist as it exists.
So, and how was to make a movie during the pandemic? Because of the restrictions, something had to change in the process?
Pretty much everything had to change. We were so close. We were about to send our line producer, Ron Lynch, to Wilmington, North Carolina, to set up the office the week the everything shut down. So he was about to leave, and we ended up canceling his flight and getting him and just
Was it
keeping
really
him
the
there.
week?
It was the week. It was
It was
like
like
the week, the next week. He was supposed to leave on like the 16th or something, and everything shut down the 13th of March. So it was like that. That was a little frustrating, but it allowed us to dig in and really build the team around it, and people who were going to be very serious about being as careful as possible during the entire production, because that was obviously the health and safety of everybody was a first and foremost priority. And then after a couple months of things playing out, we were able to secure some of the best department heads that the area had to offer, and everybody was very grateful to be back to work. That said, there were some restraints that we had to move on the fly with, like we had to do COVID testing, and we all had to wear both masks and face shields the entire time we were around actors. And and then you rely more on building rather than practical locations, because people weren't able to lend out their homes or their businesses as often. But yeah, but besides all of that, we were able to build the team we needed, and execute the script in a way that it won't feel like a COVID movie. And that was always our goal. We didn't want it to feel like a pandemic movie. It was a Scream movie, and it had to be a Scream
they're all
movie
wearing
first
masks
and
in the
foremost.
movie, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoiler
Yeah. Yeah. Every character is in the mask. It's like Ghostface with a mask on top of it.
No, I remember there were like shots of B-roll that we couldn't use because people on the street were wearing masks. I mean, everyone, everyone was masked up.
And the funny thing is, too, there's some shots we have that are in the movie where I remember sitting in the edit, and you get this hang of like almost anger when you see people who are, not our extras, just people in the deep background not wearing masks, and you're like, why aren't you wearing a mask? Like, I mean, I'm glad you're not. You should be wearing a mask.
Right.
It was so anxiety producing, though. I mean, it's not lost on us, like the scale of the opportunity we had to go and make this movie. And I think, every day Matt and I driving to set, it was like, oh shit, we made it through another day. Is this the day where it's all going to fall apart? Is this the day where they're going to pull the plug? Because when the protocols that were in place, I mean, if there's a positive test, the movie shuts down for a good chunk of time. And it's just disastrous. It's expensive. It's people's schedules are on the line. I mean, a movie, when something is up and running and in production, it's like a very fine-tuned machine to get to the finish line. And the pandemic added variables that I don't think any of us, there was no roadmap, it was new for everybody. So the anxiety of having that on top of just wanting to deliver a great Scream movie was pretty intense. But
it's also
everyone took it really seriously, and we made it through. And we're so happy that people did take it as seriously as they did.
I'd also say that just like there are so many little things that like make movies hard enough as it is, or enough of an undertaking, and then to go into it with all of these things we're talking about. It's like I remember being so stressed the weekend before we started, or the week leading into shooting, because it's like, just to talk to actors now, we have to have on a face mask and a fucking window over our face, this, what do you call it, shield thing. And it's like, I'm a quiet set, and to then have 2 layers of stuff when you're trying to like have a somewhat intimate conversation with someone while there's 1,000 people running around is, I would like get all sweaty and like hot and nervous, and it's like, because you're already in a position that's somewhat bizarre, and then to have to do that in this new world is
with the honestly, fear of death also kind of
with the fear of death. But then the weird like seesaw of that is that was like the beginning was, oh my god, how am I gonna, like, I already get nervous talking to people, and now I'm gonna be this, that, and the other. And then because of the situation being so extreme, and the way that we all lived in the same hotel, so we shared like this conference room where we could just go play games and hang out and just spend time together and really get to know each other. It then went the other way, where I was like, oh, we're all in this together. So these things that I saw as a problem are actually like, who gives a shit? Like, everybody gets it. We're in this together. Let's be a family through this. Which is, I think, it's what we were talking about at the beginning of the conversation, where it was such a unique experience because of that, and not entirely negative.
Yeah, we came together in ways that we
never would have
normally.
Yeah.
And thank you to you, Rodrigo. I mean, I think one of the things that's been so incredible for us to get to experience is to be a part of something where the fan base is just so generous, and you're a huge part of that. You obviously, Hello Sydney has a ton of followers, and it feels like one of the corners of the internet where people are kind and really love something and rally around in support of something. And it's been really awesome to get to be a part of that. And the movie hasn't even come out.